What is up, everybody? It's Rusty's Speed and Custom, as you already know. And I've had a real some beach of a morning. And you know, Blake Shelton, he started drilling before I was known. Some beach. Yeah, and dentist. And yeah, they started before I was known. Real great. If you're young, take care of your teeth. And if you're in your 40s, it's not worth it. I'm not to my 40s yet, but I try and get everything fixed. I wish I hadn't. Just take them out. I'll eat soup forever. Anyways, that's my little beginning of the video rant, if you will. You guys already know the deal, unless you haven't been here before. We're working on this hot rod. I've got it all jacked up. We're gonna start trying to get the Crossmember out. Before I do that, I gotta get the drive shaft out and get the exhaust off. I don't have to take the exhaust off, but there's no sense in fighting around it. It's gonna have to come off sooner or later. And the thing will just have to be open headers until I take the motor out. But yeah, I found something interesting. Actually was not even gonna start filming until I got this stuff apart where I could actually start working on the Crossmember. But check this out. Yes. Hang on. Okay. The rear end is kind of balanced on jack stands, so it's kind of hard to show, but I don't know if you guys can see that cap moving around. Those U-joint caps are tight. I checked them just now because I thought maybe I left them loose or something. But they're tight, and that U-joint is not tight in there. So it kind of freaks me out that I was driving it around like that. But, you know, that's the way she goes. Yeah, so anyway, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get down there and pull the exhaust and the drive shaft out. Just a 3-volt flange and a hanger for each exhaust, and then, you know, the U-joint caps. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll get under the truck and show you what we gotta do to get this Crossmember out. Appreciate you if you're watching. Hang around. We'll get something done today. Hey! Are you surprised? It's me again. Drive shaft and exhaust and all stuff's out. We're just getting to the point of starting to grind the rivets out of that thing, and I thought I would pull this Crossmember out and look at it that I bought. And what do you know, when you buy the cheapest one on Amazon, do I have a lisp? Do I have a lisp right now? My face is still numb, in case you're wondering. I'm glad it works now after they're done. It's great. Love the dentist. Anyway, I didn't really look at it too close when I got it, but now that I'm looking at it, it doesn't look too good. So, let me see here. Hold on. So this, they didn't even try and weld around that corner. These welds, these ones are not horrible. This one is at least a 32nd of undercut. I don't know if I'll be able to show that. Oh, you see that shadow right there? That's undercut. This one just looks like lumpy garbage. Again, didn't wrap the corner This looks like that. Yeah, that one's also undercut real bad. So lucky for me, I have the equipment and hopefully the abilities to fix all that. It's not really what I was hoping I wouldn't have to do that, but this literally holds the rear suspension in the truck. So it seems kind of stupid to me to risk it. You know, I want to have my wife and my daughter in this thing, and I want to feel good about it. So overall, all the dimensions and everything seem good. It's just, and those welds may never break, but in my experience, which I do weld for a living, a lot of your strength comes from wrapping corners, and also in my experience, if you're undercutting one edge, you're not getting penetration into the joint like you should. That's just my experience. So I'm going to take a, can you guys see that? I call these a burr bit. Alright, they're for a die grinder. I'm just going to take that and gouge all those welds out and re-weld it all. And I probably need to figure out some way to try and hold my dimension on the holes, but we'll figure that out. I'm probably gonna, I don't know, maybe I'll set you guys up for a time lapse or something. I'm gonna try and knock this out and then take a break to get a bite to eat before I, before I get up under the truck and start grinding on that, because that's gonna be a mess. I really want to be annoyed right now because I just spent like, I don't know, 45 minutes grinding out other people's welds. That's not something I'm fond of, but you know, I was sitting there debating being angry. You know what? That's pretty good. I'm in my garage getting ready to weld up some stuff, building my truck. We'll be alright. So, I got this pretty much prepped. The inside will be fine. We'll get good welds on the outside. I'm only going to do here, 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 and here. We'll wrap all the corners. And then it actually turns out, careful, don't mess up the paint. These are actually slot and tab. So there are tabs on the ears that actually go through here into these slots in this plate. So we're going to weld all those up. There's a couple on the bottom. Welding those will add a lot of strength. And actually, really, if I would have noticed that first, we probably could have burned in all those and this thing would have been plenty strong enough. But we're not going to hurt anything by what we're doing. So I'm going to get, it's way past the time I wanted to stop. It's already 1:15, so I'm going to throw the welds on this thing and take a lunch break. Maybe. And then we can actually get to what I thought I was going to be doing. Okay, maybe I should have left it alone. I don't know if I made it any better. You'll get that on them big jobs. Anyway, well, this was the last weld I did. I ran out of wire right there and had to put a new roll of wire in. Overall, you know, they're passable. Yes, I already wire wheeled them. I'm about to throw some paint on this thing and get in and eat something while that dries. Yeah, overall, I do think we did some good there. I have a lot more faith in that than I had before. All the corners are wrapped. Those slots are welded up. So that thing is definitely stronger than it would have been before. So, all good things there. I'm gonna get some paint on it and we'll get to cutting the old one out. Come on. Hello there. Welcome to the upside down. Or underneath. I don't know. Maybe Vecta or whatever its name is down here. Also, maybe there's a group of children who want to do all the work that I don't want to do. Probably not. So, not obviously. This right here is the crossmember we gotta get out. If the cap was off, that would be awesome. It'd be so much easier. But it isn't. And I'm not taking this thing that far apart. So, what I'm gonna have to do, hopefully you guys can see, maybe. There's rivets down here. Let me see what you guys are seeing. There's rivets down here. Technically, these three hold the bottom of the crossmember. I'm not 100% sure if I gotta take the front and back one out. It'd be really nice if I could fish this thing out of here without doing that. But I'm not sure if that's gonna work. And the real pain is gonna be, there's one there and one there. And obviously that's the top side of the frame. This is the bottom of the cab. So it's gonna be a nightmare. I knew this was gonna be a nightmare. There's nothing you can really do about it other than just get to work. So I don't know how much you guys are gonna see, but basically my plan of attack, to start with, I'm gonna use my little 90 with some 36 grit roll lock pads. I'm gonna use that for the, I'm gonna start with that for the top ones. I'm hoping I can just grind the head of them off and then hammer them out with a hammer and chisel. That would be ideal. The bottom ones, I'm gonna probably take a 4.5 inch grinder and grind a flat spot, and then I may try and drill those since I can get to them. Those top ones I can't get a drill on. So those, I'm gonna start with those because I feel like that's gonna be the worst part of the process. And then yeah, I don't know how far I'm gonna get. It's already like 2:30. So I've got a couple hours to put in, and yeah, unfortunately there's nothing to it but to do it. I hate my life. Why do I do this to myself? Why do I do this to myself? Okay. I don't know. I have headphones in, so I don't know how loud I'm talking. But I ended up, hopefully you guys can see, probably not. I ended up cutting this bottom lip off of here. And then I ground the heads off the top ones and just pried the whole thing down. And I'm gonna have to go back and knock those other ones out, but yeah, this sucks about as much as I thought it was going to. So on this side, you do have to worry about brake lines and fuel lines. So assuming I don't blow myself up, I'll see you in the next clip after this is out, hopefully. Just keep in mind, if you're gonna do this, this part sucks. Maybe if you had a torch or an air hammer, or a torch and an air hammer, it wouldn't be so bad, but I don't have either of those, so just gotta embrace the suck, as they say. Hang on. Oh, can you see the amount of grinding dust on my face? It's a lot. I am filthy. My garage is filthy, but we got her dead, boys. Come on. Let me crawl in here. I have so much stuff to clean up, and I got about 15 minutes to do it before I gotta, you know, be a grown up, quit playing with my toys. But we are inside the frame rails, if you can't tell. There she is in all of her glory. I did not. Can you guys see me better like that? It's like a creepy movie. Anyway. Yeah, I didn't show any of the other side. It worked out pretty well cutting that lower piece off, grinding the bottom side of the top rivets, and then just knocking the whole thing out. And then after I did that, I went back and got this piece out. This is the first time I've done this, so I kind of had to figure out the process. Obviously, an air hammer would be great. But the best way I found is, like I said, to me, there's no reason in saving this. I was trying to do it nicely and not destroy it. There's no real reason. I'm not going to put that back on. So, and ultimately, if I wanted to, I could weld those pieces back on. But I'm not going to. I'm going to scrap that thing. Yeah, but like I said before, cut that bottom ear, grind the head off the bottom of the two top rivets, and just cram a chisel in there and hammer on it until the whole thing pops down. Then you got way more room to get in there and get to all other stuff. If I would have done them both that way, we'd be a lot farther along today. But I'm out of time. So right now this is not bolted in. I did, this right here was the head of a rivet that is on the bottom. I did have to cut it off in order to get this to go, like, and put this end in and then slide this side back. and that had to come out. I don't see any reason to take the other ones out. I wish I could have left them all in. That one, I may get in here and just run some weld around the top of it and just leave it. Yeah, and then it's just nuts and bolts. So that's gonna be the end of this video. Creepy video. That's basically, yeah. It's a crappy job, but now we will have some anti-squat adjustment on the control arms. And I don't know if I mentioned this really, but to me, the main advantage of these aftermarket Crossmembers is the exhaust will come through here. Before, with a factory Crossmember, there's nowhere for the exhaust, so it had to be down. The highest point could only come up to the bottom of the Crossmember. And if I'll put in a picture right here. I have a picture of the truck when I drove it to that old vintage gas station, and from the side profile all I can see is the exhaust hanging down under it, and it drives me nuts. So once we get the new motor in and run a new exhaust, we should be able to run it through the frame rails. It's still going to be tricky because of the trailing arms, but we should be able to keep it up, and I'm hoping come out somewhere in here, maybe in front of the rear wheel or something. I don't know, we'll figure that out when we get there. But yeah, that's gonna, I don't know, maybe I'll add on to this video. The next thing I gotta do is I gotta clean all this up and paint the frame rails, and I need to paint where I ground on them for this, and then start reassembling all this. But we might do that as its own video. Get out there, work on your junk, and come back next week.